Hello, welcome to week 7 of our Fit to Flaunt program. You know, I hate to say this, but from the time we started until right now, things are actually more stressful. Things are actually way more out of control. And it's my sincerest wish that you are all hanging in there and are doing okay and are feeling okay. I know that many of you have been unintentionally homeschooling. I know that many of you have been trying to work with kids at home, and that ups the frustration level a lot. I know that many of you are probably getting triggered over small little things the way I am, like my dog starts barking and I lose my head. That's why I'm really excited to bring you Dr. Lynyetta Willis tonight. She is a parenting expert. But not only that, she is just one of the most brilliant, wise women that I have ever met. And she's got several incredible models that can help you deal with whatever it is you're facing, whether it's stress in a partnership, in a marriage, just even with yourself. She just has this amazing calm wisdom. So she sadly cannot be with us in person the entire night, but she graciously videotaped her presentation, and I'm going to let her talk, and then she will screen share, and the floor will be hers, and you will learn this incredible hush model. So with that, welcome to Fit to Flaunt, Dr. Willis.
Thank you so much for having me, Laura. This is really exciting. As I say in the presentation, when I heard that Laura was providing an experience, I was like, ooh, me. Because Laura is phenomenal and anything she touches turns to gold. So I want some gold. So yes, I am Dr. Lynyetta Willis. I am a psychologist and a family coach and a speaker and an author. And I help families break free from stable misery in their parenting and their partnerships so they can feel more joy and more harmony. So if that is you, if you could use some of that, can use some joy and harmony, I encourage you to tune in and stay till the end because I am offering an awesome free workshop. Oh, I just gave it away, but it's still pretty cool. And I would love to have you there if you want to figure out how to break free from stable misery parenting a little bit more. Okay, so I will start now.
Hello. How is everyone this evening? Oh my goodness, so glad to be here. I am Dr. Lynyetta Willis, family coach, psychologist, speaker, and author. When Laura asked me to be part of her Fit to Flaunt experience, I jumped at the opportunity because I knew I was going to be amidst some really amazing speakers. And I am so honored to be here with you all this evening. So this evening, I am going to talk to you about something that is very near and dear to my heart. As a family coach, I love helping families to break free from stable misery in their parenting and in their partnerships so they can feel more joy and harmony as a family. And today I'm going to be speaking with you about how to break free from stable misery parenting specifically. We're going to go from chaos to calm so you and your kids can feel the joy you both deserve. All right, so let's get this party started. So my goal for our time together is to invite you to create a shift in how you think about parenting. And then I'm going to lead you through a powerful guided visualization to support that shift. So you will have a go-to tool that you can use to break free from stable misery and feel more dynamic joy and harmony in your home with your kids. So one thing I want to say is please stay till the end because I have an amazing free offer for you that I'm really excited about. So please stay till the end so that you can get more details on that. Okay, what is stable misery parenting? Let me start out with stable misery. Stable misery is that state that we often find ourselves in one or two areas of our life and relationships where things are moving along at a pretty familiar and stable pace. But if you pull back the curtain just a little bit, in those areas, we're feeling miserable or unfulfilled or not happy or shut down, right? And when we're living in stable misery, it might be the case that other areas of our life we're rocking it, maybe like in our jobs or with friendships. When we talk about stable misery parenting, when we're talking about our relationship with our child, that's just not the case. And we know and we hope that things can get better. We want things to get better, but we're just not sure how to break free from that cycle of misery. And the other thing that I want to say about stable misery parenting is a lot of times it can feel like as parents, we're stuck in this space and we don't know how to break free. And it's just us. We can feel very alone. But the truth of the matter is that our kids are there too, right? When we're not happy with the way our relationship is with our kids, you can rest assured that they're not happy with the way that their relationship is with us. So this is something that really does impact everyone in the family, everyone in the situation. So how do you know if you're parenting in stable misery? There are a few things. You see and feel more drama than joy. Perception is the foundation of everything. Okay, it trumps reality 100% of the time. And when we are parenting in stable misery, we see and feel the drama more than we see and feel the joyful moments. You feel burned out. You can't recall the last time you had fun as a parent. If you're anything like me, before you had babies, you dreamed about all the fun things you were going to do and how amazing it was going to be. Maybe you wondered, what's all the fuss about? Parenting thing isn't so hard. And then you had kids, right? And then you got it. And for you, maybe parenting has become an act of depletion when you really, really want it to be something that's energizing. You began to anticipate difficulties before they even happen. Have you ever been here? You know, your eyes open up and the sun's shining through and all you can feel is dread on how the morning's gonna go. Or maybe you think about going out in public and you start visualizing the frustrating battles you're gonna have to endure. You and your partner can't get on the same parenting page and it's stressing your relationship. Families are a system, right? And when one part of the system, like all systems, isn't flowing well, it puts stress on other parts of the system. Same is true in our family. So when we can't get on the same parenting page with our partners, it can impact the partnership as a whole. It can impact the intimacy, it can impact the connection, it can impact the communication, right? It all blends together. You might be in stable misery parenting when you're triggered and you find yourself overreacting, even when you know in your heart that your kids are just being kids. I hear this so much from my clients. They'll say, well, sitting here with you, I'm calm, right? And I can say, I know that that thing that they did was normal for their age, but in the moment, I'm just angry. When you fall back on old, unhelpful parenting habits, you're afraid that your poor modeling will mess up your kids or your connection with them. Look, I get it. I see you. Regardless of how frustrated you feel, you love your child and you want the absolute best for them. And you would dare anyone to get in the way of that. And as a result, you feel shame and guilt when you think you're the one getting in the way of that through your actions or your reactions. Some form of anger, overwhelm, tension, guilt, shame, or self-criticism always seems to be there, knocking on your door, staring you in the face. I can say I've actually been in that place. You know, you're living in that I love you, but I don't like you very much right now space a little bit too often, right? Or maybe you get frustrated and tired of asking questions like, why can't I get this right? Or how do we end up in the same place over and over again? And these thoughts and these feelings lead you to not feel so great about yourself. Even though you know it didn't work for you, you find yourself reacting to your kids like your caregivers reacted to you growing up. Maybe you had thoughts like, oh no, I'm acting just like my mom, or oh, I sound just like my dad, or crap, here I am yelling again. oh, why can't I just stop? Can you relate to any of these? Hello, I'm Dr. Lynyetta Willis. As I said earlier, family coach, psychologist, author, and speaker. I've been in the psychology field for over 20 years, and I've developed many specialties in families, trauma healing, couples, and parents, which is where I put my primary focus right now, on the family. I'm also a triathlete. I've completed 4 triathlons, and triathlons, they teach you a lot. So while running and biking and swimming my way towards that finish line, there were times when I felt like I was nailing it and I was so proud of myself. And there were other times where I questioned, whose bright idea was this, right? And going in, I knew there were areas like the swimming and the biking where I could rock it pretty well. And then there were others like running where I knew that I was probably going to want to give up the minute my foot hit the pavement, which was true every single time. But I got out there anyway, and I did it despite my shortcomings. And as a result, I transformed as an athlete and as a human, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And if you're anything like me as a parent, you're very similar, right? There are times where you feel like you're nailing it, and other times where you feel like you're being nailed to a wall. Am I right? Right? There are times when we feel so proud of ourselves, and other times where we question if we're strong enough or good enough for this parenting thing. Here's the thing. The answer is yes. Yes, you are strong enough, and yes, you are good enough, because despite your shortcomings, you're doing it. And as you keep going along this parenting journey, you too have the opportunity to transform as a parent and as a human, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Are we doing it perfectly? No. But in triathlons and in parenting, there's no perfection. There's only learning, a lot of experimentation, some self-forgiveness, and maybe a couple of shots of your favorite alcoholic beverage. I'm kidding, sort of. So I grew up in a home where for generations, pain, blame, shame, and avoidance, or as I lovingly call them, the 4 horsemen of parenting, were often called forth to keep kids like me in line. Phrases like, stop crying before I give you something to cry about, or what's wrong with you, or what happens in this house stays in this house. Yeah, any of those sound familiar? Yeah. Those were used to keep us marching in a straight line. And they did for a while, but they also had some unintended consequences. Look, my family wasn't bad, all right? I was loved, and they used what they were used to and what they were taught. But after doing a lot of work on myself and diving into a whole lot of research, I realized this is not the only and certainly not the best way to raise kids. So I decided to retire the 4 horsemen and teach myself and my kids a new way. Look, I truly believe that on a soul level, our children, the ones that we're raising, will be a deeply healing and transformative generation. From pandemics to crises in social justice like the ones we're facing now, they will be the ones who heal this planet. They'll learn and use powerful tools like the ability to shift perspective, or an awareness of themselves and others, compassion for themselves and others, or openness, all the things. They'll know how to use them to transform this world into one that would be unrecognizable to those of us who are adults today. But in order to do that, our children, they need to be raised by caregivers who hold the same dream for them in this world. And I call myself and others who want to do their most sacred relationships differently, relationship evolutionaries or revolutionaries. And if this describes you, if you're committed to doing relationships differently than you were taught, to keeping stable misery at bay so that you can raise your kids, your marriage, and yourself with a more evolved mindset, then welcome to the tribe. Okay. So I want to give, a little caveat here about going from stable misery to what I like to call dynamic joy in your parenting journey. Many people approach parenting like a light switch, right? I'm either good or bad, nailing it or failing it. But I like to think of it more like a dimmer switch, right? Where we can be absolutely in stable misery or in dynamic joy or anywhere in between. And we usually live in that anywhere in between space. And we realize this, it puts less pressure on us to be joyful all the time, right? So when it's in and off switch, we think things like, well, I'm not happy, I must be failing it. But when we view it as a dimmer switch, we feel less pressure because we realize that at any given moment, the intention can simply be to find a way to move ourselves and our relationship one step closer to joy, right? Just one step closer. And from this perspective, what we really want to focus on is not making ourselves or our kids happy or good or obedient, but on cultivating the tools we need to bring ourselves one step closer to joy. So we can ask, I literally ask myself that question: what is one step I can take right now in this moment to bring myself closer to joy? Or what's one step I can take right now to bring a bit more joy into this moment, right? That's why it's dynamic, it shifts, it flows. It's not here today and gone tomorrow. But in order to do this, we have to cultivate something really important within ourselves first. Dan Siegel, one of my favorite quotes, says, "The best predictor of a child's well-being is the parent's self-understanding." Like, I have a perspective, and it's that personal growth, it's a myth. I think it's a myth. I think all deep and lasting growth, it occurs in relationship. Because relationship gives us something to bump up against, reflect upon, and transform through. Think about it. Can you think of one deep transformation you've made where a relationship wasn't involved? Maybe a relationship with a person or an illness or nature, right? You'd be really hard pressed to find it. Relationships are necessary for change. And our children, they are the most powerful and formidable change agents we will ever meet. They're not trying to irritate us. They're inviting us to grow. They're not manipulating us. They're our mirror through which we can see all the parts of ourselves, the light and the shadow, reflected in their faces and in their actions and their inactions. And that gives us an opportunity to evolve. The key is never to become the perfect parent. Or it might be for you. Good luck with that. Let me know when you do that, because I want to come to your presentation. It's not even to change or control our child. It's to transform and grow through our relationship with our child. And when we set this as an intention, this is what happens. When we set this as an intention, we model for them and for ourselves new ways of being that will instill within our children a level of consciousness that will eventually exceed our own. Let me say more about that. So to put it simply, how do we transform and gain more self-understanding through our relationship with our child? So picture someone climbing a mountain, okay? So if person A was below or next to person B, how effective would person A be at helping person B climb up the mountain? Not very, right? They don't have any leverage, can't pull them up. But by being a bit above, person A is able to guide and pull person B up to where they are and even help person B get beyond. And this is how it is with our children. By witnessing and experiencing our evolved way of being, our children are able to climb to where we are and beyond. So how do we do it? Well, our parenting journey, it gives us a path through which we can gain more and more self-understanding, should we choose to take it. And now I'm going to guide you through one of those paths, through an activity that you can use to gain more self-understanding and start breaking free from stable misery parenting. So this is what is known as, or this is my depiction of what is known as the window of tolerance. This is not mine. It was created by a trauma researcher by the name of Pat Ogden. And what she basically said is, when we are in our window of tolerance, we feel all types of things. We feel calm, alert, intuitive, curious, creative, empathic, regulated, energized, effective, connected, Sounds amazing, right? And when we're in our window, we may even create new challenges like triathlons or marathons, right? Because we have all of these different skills and qualities to help us through. And we have the energy to get through. And then there are times when we fall out of the window of tolerance, or sometimes we may feel like we are pushed out of the window of tolerance, especially when we're talking about parenting. And then we're what I like to call living on the ledge. Okay? And we know we're living on the ledge when we get angry or overwhelmed or anxious or overreactive, or we find ourselves on autopilot or shut down or defensive, or we're playing old stories that we know aren't helpful in our minds about our children and about our relationship with them, or we're repeating old patterns that we know don't really get us where we want to be, but we just find ourselves stuck in that same place. The other thing about this window is when we are in our window of tolerance, we are operating from our adult brain or intellectual brain, or what is scientifically known as our prefrontal cortex, right? That's the part of our brain where we have logical thoughts and we create things and we plan and we organize. And when we are operating through our emotional brain or the amygdala, that part of our brain holds it's sort of like the emotional seat. And so when we fall out of the window of tolerance, what often is happening is our frontal lobe is shutting down, prefrontal cortex, and our amygdala is jumping up and is running the show. So when we're triggered by our children, our adult brain, it can go offline. Our adult brain is the window, what happens in the window. And our baby brain, our amygdala, hops into the driver's seat. Now, I'm sure I don't have to spell out for you what happens if you put a baby in a driver's seat of a moving vehicle, right? Like it's not good. Not good at all. But that's often what happens. So these are the little babies that hop into the driver's seat in your brain when you're living on the ledge. Do you recognize them? I'm sure you do. Now, a lot of traditional meditation techniques or formats would tell us to detach and just notice the babies, right? Notice them like clouds rolling by. But this doesn't always work, does it? Especially in times of crisis, right? What do you think would happen if you just noticed these babies? Like clouds rolling by. How effective would that be? You think they'd come? Probably not, right? It wouldn't work. So when we're talking about parenting, especially because when we're triggered, sometimes we can feel younger than our child, right? I know I've been there. I'm like, wait, who's the adult? Who's the child? And so we act out of these little baby brains when we're living on the ledge. And then when our adult brain wakes up from its nap and we realize we can sometimes be filled with regret, shame, guilt over what we said or what we did. And when the baby brain wakes up, or when the baby brain was awake, right, and driving the bus or driving the car. But here's the thing. The idea isn't that we should put the baby brain up for adoption or lock it away. It's actually very helpful and necessary part of our brain that alerts us when we're in danger. But we don't have to let it drive all the time, right? We can hush it during those times when it only thinks we're in danger. And it's leading us to repeat those unhelpful patterns and keep us stuck in stable misery with our precious babies. Okay, so what we really need to do in those moments is we need to hush the baby brain. And when we do, the baby brain is able to stop alerting us of danger. It's able to crawl back into the window where it realigns with our adult brain or highest, wisest self, or a wise mind, as some may call it, right? Where it can play and be curious and rest and laugh. Now, as you can probably guess, HUSH is an acronym that we can use to calm our triggered baby brain, like with a baby. We can hear it, we can understand it, we can see it, and we can help it. And when we do these things, the babies hush, right? The same is true for the parts of ourself that are triggered and struggling with our child. We can empower ourselves to show up as the parent we want to be and we know we can be. So the purpose of hush is to hush or calm the emotional brain when we're triggered by our children, so that we can access that more logical side of our brain and feel more calm, climb back into the window, and respond to our child from that space. Hush allows us to get that deep sense of self-understanding that we so crave. So get comfy, and I'm going to guide you through the hush process that you can use the next time you're triggered, right? And I just want you to think, how would you feel if instead of unleashing on your child or joining their baby brain with your baby brain, so you could just turn towards yourself and seek a deeper sense of awareness and understanding. And then from that place, engage, right? And act as opposed to react. I just want you to think for a moment what that would be like. Before I go on, I just want to say that you are invited. I actually have a free workshop that I'm doing it's not for everyone, but if you are watching this and you are part of the Fit to Flaunt experience, I'm going to invite you as well. It's something I'm doing for some of my clients, and I want you to have the opportunity to attend as well. It's a free workshop. It's called Elemental Living Parenting Edition. Now, I created a few years ago a model. It's called the Elemental Living Model, and it uses brain science and imagery to help parents or help you to remember those ideal responses when the baby brain is driving, even when the baby brain is driving. It's a really fun model. Every time I teach it, I get so much great feedback. People tell me how much they love using it, and I want to teach you how to use it. So through this workshop, what you're gonna learn is you're gonna learn how to sidestep power struggles, meltdowns, and defiance so you can overreact less and enjoy your family more, even when you're triggered, overwhelmed, or just plain clueless on what to do next. And this workshop will be going on Friday, June 19th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you could register at apathtojoy.com, apathtojoy.com. So please go over and register. If you can't make it during this time, still register. There will be a replay available for a short period of time, so if you do, don't take too long to watch it, okay? So head on over and register. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, you just write that down somewhere if you want to, and I'll put it up at the end again as well. So if you don't have a piece of paper or a pen, take a screenshot later. All right, so let's move on. Ooh, let's see. Okay. So what I want you to do, what I invite you to do, is I invite you to think of a situation. I'm sorry, this is not working right. I apologize for that. Okay. I invite you to think of a situation involving your child, right, that led you to feel, that not so great feeling. Maybe you felt overwhelmed or defeated or angry or frustrated or exhausted. Whatever it is, just notice. right? Just something that led you to feel triggered in some way, or a feeling that you weren't really happy about. Okay. And when you think about that situation, and it could be something that you're just curious about, you're like, I wonder why I reacted that way. Or it would be great if I didn't react that way again. Okay. And as you think about that situation, I want you to sit somewhere and get calm and get comfortable. This it's not. Okay. And just take some deep breaths. And I want you to think of that frustrating situation. And as you think about it, I want you to notice how it shows up in your body. Your shoulders, your head, your stomach. Where do you notice that frustrating situation in your body? What feelings does it bring up for you? Defeated, overwhelmed, angry, frustrated, exhausted, afraid, whatever it is, just notice. And there's no need to feel guilt or shame for whatever comes up. Realize this is just one aspect of you. It's not all of who you are. It's just one aspect. And I wonder if this aspect of you that's presenting as a thought, body sensation, or feeling, I wonder if it could manifest in any form that it wanted to in your mind's eye. What would it become? A person? A color? A wisp of fog? What? Maybe just lean in and allow whatever wants to manifest to come up. And now we're going to calm or hush this aspect of you by hearing it, understanding it, seeing it, and helping it. So first, I invite you to really hear this part of you. Maybe ask it, what are your thoughts about this situation? Hear it, hear all the stories that it's saying. Maybe it's saying things like, this isn't fair, or I don't know what else to do. This isn't my fault. Why is she so annoying? Gah! Maybe it's just making noises. Whatever comes up for you, don't judge, just listen. Now you can take a moment to write things down if you'd like, but you don't have to. You can just be here because this is just an aspect of you, so it's all in there. It's not all of who you are. It's just one aspect of you that's reacting in a particular situation at a particular point in time. It's just a part of you that wants to protect you and keep you safe. That's all. So write down or think about all the stories. Just hear them. Hear all the stories about the situation. The next thing I invite you to do is to understand that part of you. Now, this might take a minute, okay? So really focus on it. Because when you understand a part of you, what you're really doing is you're practicing self-compassion, right? So the part that's like, ugh, I can't believe what just happened. She's so ungrateful. Or he's bringing down the mood. Whatever it is. As you listen to the stories, respond to this aspect of you as if it's a good friend coming to you saying all of these things. Just really understand where it's coming from. Maybe you start each sentence with, of course you would think that. Of course you would feel that way. Or, I get that you would want that or not want that. I get how you could see it that way. As you listen to that part of yourself, just understand. And if you don't want to say anything at all, that's okay too. Just sit and allow compassion within you to flow through you to that aspect of you that you're understanding and hearing right now. If you were to allow compassion to flow through you, what color would it be? I wonder if it would float like fog or flow like water. Whatever, just allow. Really understand it and allow the compassion to well up in you. And just notice what you notice. Maybe you notice shifts in the stories you're hearing. Maybe you notice shifts in sensations you're feeling or the intensity of the emotions. It's okay if you do, and it's okay if you don't. Just notice. Now we're going to see through the eyes of this aspect of you. You see, we're triggered when something or someone in our present moment, like our child, reminds us of something or someone from our past. And when we're not aware of this connection to our past, we may overreact as if we were still there. So ask this aspect of you, maybe, show me a time when you first felt this way, or what do you want me to know about you? Show me a time when you first felt this way, or what do you want me to know about you? You may get images of things that have nothing to do with your child. Like images of times when you felt this way before, long ago, earlier in your life. Just notice, don't force it. Just notice what, if anything, comes up for you in your mind's eye. Now, I invite you to ask this aspect of you another question to help you see. Ask, how do you lead or encourage me to respond when you hop in my driver's seat? How do you lead me or encourage me to respond or react when you hop into my driver's seat? An angry part may lead you to go to your child and yell until they hear you. Or a hurt aspect of you may lead you to call your child ungrateful. Just see it all. See when this part of you is riled up and in the driver's seat. How do you tend to show up? Ask it to show you. See it all, and then see anything else that this part of you may want you to see. You can even ask it, what else do you want me to see? What else do you want me to know? Now, the last thing I invite you to do is help. So you've heard this part of you, you've understood its perspective, you've seen it, and now I invite you to ask the question, how can I help? And you may get things like, I just need you to listen or get energy out. I need you to take a drive or journal more, ask for more support. Or maybe you'll hear things like, I need you to slow down, or I just need you to play, or grab a cup of coffee. Just listen to what can help this aspect of you feel more hushed. And then I want you to notice what, if anything, has shifted in your body, in your mind, from this place of realizing that this reaction, these thoughts, these feelings, they are not you, but they are a part of you. And now that you have a little bit of distance, and if you don't have distance, that's okay too. If you feel like, yeah, I'm still kind of activated, you can ask this aspect of you to just back up or calm a little bit. Maybe breathe into wherever it is that you're feeling it, wherever it is that you notice. And now from that space, from that more calm, neutral space, I'm going to ask you a question. When you look back at your child and the issue that you began this journey focusing upon, what do you see in your mind's eye when you look back at them? What do you notice? With this part of you hushed and calmed a bit from this less activated place, when you look at your child in your mind's eye, what do you notice? Like, for instance, you may notice something like, oh, wow, they're really going through something. And whatever it is has nothing to do with me. Or maybe you feel more compassion. What happens when you are more detached from the outcome or from the situation? What comes up in you from this less activated place? And the next question I have for you, from this calmer space, ask yourself, what is the next best step that I can take regarding my child and this situation? What is the next best step that I can take regarding my child and this situation? Just allow whatever comes up to come up. From this less attached place, you might think things like, wow, I need to go and say something to my child, or let them know I'm here for them. Or maybe you say to them, I see how disappointing that was for you. I'm sorry you're feeling sad right now. Or maybe that next best step is to not say anything at all. Maybe it's to write something. Or just to be silent and hold space. Whatever comes up, just allow it to come up. Whatever feels good, whatever feels in alignment, whatever feels true, clear, whole, whatever it is, the next best step. And take some breaths, some deep breaths as we bring this activity to a close. And I want you to remember, you've got this. There is no other option. You see, your child is perfect for you. The situation is perfect for you. They are in your life because they are the perfect ones to help you learn the perfect lesson in this perfect way, in this perfect moment. So you've got this. Their relationship, your relationship with them, it can help you to evolve. And in turn, help them to do so as well. Your child, they are your perfect teacher. They're here to help you evolve, and that is exactly what they're doing. Remember, there is no growth outside of relationship. You're the perfect duo to help one another evolve, and that's exactly what's happening. You're doing exactly what you're here to do for and with each other. And it really is beautiful because you are whole, you are enough, you are love, and you are always learning, never failing. You are growing, you're evolving, you're doing it. Good job. Deep breath. So don't forget about the workshop. Go to apathtojoy.com to register. It's going to be on June 19th. And also, if you want to just hop on a call with me, hop on a break-free call to talk about some specific ways that you can break free from stable misery as a parent, or even in your partnership or your marriage. We'll hop on, it's totally free, and we'll just get down and I'll give you some tips and some guidance on how to shift some things. You can go to bookdrlwillis.com. So book, D-R, L as in ladybug, Willis, WILLIS.com. Thank you so much for being here with me this evening. And I hope to see you in the workshop or on my schedule. Bye.